Buckle up for a trip down memory lane as you venture into the spine-tingling world of kids' TV shows that not only gave us the creeps, but managed to haunt even the bravest of grown-ups. Children's television has always been a playground of experimentation, where the boundaries of imagination are always pushed to the limit. It's a place where wild ideas roam free and our disbelief gets locked up in a timeout corner. And let's be honest, who wouldn't get hooked on shows that dished out a generous dose of fantasy tropes, transported us to new worlds, and defied the laws of physics, all while making us jump out of our skins? Today, we're delving deep into the closet where we stashed away all those scary memories from our childhood, so grab your popcorn and prepare to reminisce about the dark and fantastical tales that kept us glued to our screens, whether out of curiosity or sheer terror. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Goosebumps, 1995 to 1998. Making a TV show out of R.L. Stine's books was seriously a genius move, and it gave us a frightfully fun masterpiece known as Goosebumps, an anthology horror show for kids to tap into the darkest corners of our imaginations. It's like a spooky treasure trove overflowing with creepy tales, where twins and young teens get tangled up in bizarre and supernatural situations. You name it, haunted dolls, ghostly masks, and eerie curses. This show has it all. Stine must have been a writing machine, churning out more books than a kid could devour during summer vacation. But hey, that's what gave birth to this terrifyingly entertaining franchise, making a jump from bookshelves to the small screen. Each episode is a thrilling adventure based on a different book, starring brave young protagonists in the most hair-raising and supernatural predicaments you can imagine. Who can forget the haunted mask, the episode that still haunts the dreams of many fans to this day, or the horror? But hey, don't be shy, drop a comment if you remember this bone-chilling gem. The legacy of Goosebumps is still live and kicking, keeping us up at night and craving for more. It's a show that refuses to fade away, leaving us with reprints, spooky movies, and brace yourself, an eagerly awaited reboot of the series. The Goosebumps just keep on coming. Are you afraid of the dark? A group of brave or perhaps not so brave young souls gathering around a crackling campfire, ready to delve into the abyss of terror. If you thought you weren't afraid of the dark before, just wait until you experience this anthology horror series. It's so spine-chillingly good that it's not seen not one but two revivals since its first haunting appearance in 1990, with the latest one gracing our screens in 2019. Welcome to the Midnight Society, a bunch of daring teens on a mission to scare themselves silly, and boy do they succeed. At every gathering, they elect a fearless member to take the storytelling reins and weave a tale that would make even the dark itself shiver in fear. Imagine the scene. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story X. The storyteller announces, and we, along with the rest of the huddled group, prepare for the impending chill. The transition is seamless, and we're whisked away into worlds where classic horror tropes like witches and vampires come alive with a devilish twist. But that's not all. These young storytellers aren't afraid to tap into their own lives, crafting tales of vengeance and punishment with an eerie supernatural air. You never know what frightful surprise awaits just around the corner as the tale concludes. The Midnight Society extinguishes the campfire flames, leaving us viewers in the dark, both figuratively and literally. This is a show that knows how to grip you, keeping you on the edge of your seat and your heart pounding.
For another fear fest.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper, 1993 to 1999, an animated TV show that slithered its way into young minds on Saturday mornings, ready to deliver some hair-raising scares. This gem, my friends, was none other than the devilishly delightful offspring of Tales from the Crypt, and it had quite a successful 3-season run before retreating back into the eerie grave from whence it came. But hold out to your funny bones, because here's a fun fact. This show drew inspiration from the EC Comics horror anthology comic books of the 1950s. Oh yes, they exhumed those creepy classics and brought them to life just for the pleasure of haunting our childhoods. So what's the scoop of this animated spook fest? Imagine this, an animated Crypt Keeper wickedly grinning from ear to ear, unleashing tales of terror with a twist of morality at the end. Sounds like your cup of tea, right? And while this show keeps its young audience in mind, it's no kiddie playdate. Oh no, it goes all in, diving headfirst into the dark abyss of horror atmosphere. Spooky cackles echo, rival storytellers weave their wicked narratives, and You'll encounter witches and mythological beasts like you've never seen before. This animated horror anthology is the stuff of nightmares in the best possible way. It's the kind of show that gave us goosebumps while leaving us giggling nervously in equal measure. And as the Crypt Keeper delivers his chilling tales, you'll find yourself hooked, curious to know what creepy surprises hide around every scene corner.
Fry, see you later, alligator!
Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids 2000. Let's take a journey into the dark and twisted world of a TV show that had absolutely zero chills when it came to dishing out nightmare fuel. Based on Jamie Rix's series of books, this little gem started off as 10-minute cartoons before unleashing a whole new batch of horrors with Grizzly Tales. 26 more episodes of spine-tingling fun. Now here's the scoop. They'll send shivers down your spine. This show didn't hold back when it came to teaching awful kids some seriously chilling lessons. Yep, it was all about punishment for those little terrors, and trust me, it was scary stuff for a young mind to digest. In the second iteration of this hair-raising show, things got even more terrifying. Remember the Night Porter, an ominous figure ready to banish bad children to this hotel of horrors for all eternity? Yikes! Forget the warm and fuzzy life lessons. This show took a sinister turn that left us peeking under our beds before going to sleep. And oh boy, did the narrator deliver more lessons that hit a little too close to home. It's like they knew our own misdeeds and were using them against us. Some may argue that Tales from the Crypt Keeper had its own merits, but let me tell you, Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids, the British sensation, might just be the more faithful children's adaptation of the cryptic tales. It was a chilling masterpiece that had us glued to the screen, biting our nails in equal parts fear and fascination. Courage, the Cowardly Dog, 1999 to 2002. Let's venture into the wonderfully weird world of Courage, the embodiment of all our anxieties, packed into one small nerve-wracked pooch. This comedy horror show takes us to the middle of nowhere where Courage and his rather unique owners reside. Courage's owners, a loving motherly figure and a grumpy old man, are blissfully unaware of the bizarre shenanigans unfolding around them. It's like they're living in their own little world, completely oblivious to the supernatural surrealism going on right under their noses. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride that'll give any child the heebie-jeebies. Courage's backstory is no walk in the park either. As a pup, he was left abandoned when his parents were sent off to space by a downright malicious vet. From that moment on, his life became a roller coaster of horrors and creepy encounters. Despite all his fear and anxiety, Courage has one mission and one mission only: to protect his new owners, especially his dear Muriel, from all those invading forces of darkness. But wait, there's more. For those in the know, return to slab are 3 words that still send shivers down our spines as children. Goosebumps guaranteed. Dead Time Stories, Nickelodeon, 2012 to 2014. This cult favorite takes its inspiration from a series of books and a chilling 1986 film sharing its hair-raising tales with unfortunate clients through the ominous voice of the babysitter. An anthology of horror fantasy stories that will leave you with childhood trauma to spare. Brace yourself for standout episodes like Grandpa's Monster Movies and Who's Giggling Now, where you'll meet the stuff of nightmares, Giggles the Killer Clown. Okay, this one is seriously creepy. This show ventures far from lighthearted territory. It gleefully leans into the horror aspect, making it a solid 10 on the scarometer. Prepare for scares that stick with you long after the credits roll. And guess what? The live-action format takes it to a whole new level of realism. You'll find yourself immersed in the intensely scary atmosphere the creators skillfully crafted as reanimated corpses, ghosts, and haunted objects creep into the darkest corners of your imagination. The Haunting Hour 2010. Many of the kids' horror TV shows we know and love wouldn't exist without the master of spooky tales himself, R.L. Stine. And guess what? Here's another one. The Haunting Hour, a creepy delight that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Like Goosebumps, each episode introduces a fresh cast facing terrifying situations involving ghosts, aliens, witches, zombies, and monstrous creatures. But hold on tight, because this series takes a much darker turn than its predecessor. Unlike Goosebumps, where the threat of death is often implied, here it's crystal clear and permanent. Death lurks around every scene, not sparing antagonists or minor characters. Even the main protagonists may meet a haunting fate, making the stakes all the more spine-chilling. However, amidst the darkness, there are episodes that provide a glimmer of hope with happy endings, reminding us of the classic formula seen in Are You Afraid of the Dark? Sure, it may not be the absolute scariest R.L. Stine adaptation out there, but don't be fooled, this show still packs a punch. Over the Garden Wall 2014. Step into the enchanting world of Over the Garden Wall, a critically acclaimed animated miniseries that whisks viewers away to a mysterious world. Meet Wirt and Greg, two half-brothers to find themselves lost in a strange and supernatural forest called the Unknown. Their quest to find their way home takes them on a gripping adventure across this haunting landscape. Wirt is a worry-prone teenager, hesitant to make decisions and often keeping his passions hidden from the world. Meanwhile, Greg, the younger brother, is carefree and naive, much to Wirt's exasperation. He carries a frog he affectionately tries to name, a running gag throughout the series. Along their journey, the boys encounter peculiar characters like the Wandering Woodsman and Beatrice, the irritable bluebird. With Beatrice's help, they seek Adelaide, a woman rumored to undo the curse on her and her family, as well as guide the brothers back home. However, their path is not without peril, for lurking in the shadows is the malevolent Beast. This ancient creature seeks to lead lost souls astray until they succumb to despair and become Edelwood trees. Over the Garden Wall isn't afraid to explore the darker side of storytelling, taking us on a journey through spooky parables and chilling tales. From twist endings to heart-stopping surprises, this show knows how to keep us hooked, guessing and occasionally hiding behind the nearest cushion. Real monsters. Meet Ickys, Oblita, and Krum, a trio of young creatures learning the tricks of the monster trade right under the bustling streets of New York City. And let me tell you, the mere thought of it can send a young mind on a fearsome ride. Under the watchful eye of their headmaster, the Grumble, these young monsters in training are on a mission to master the art of scaring. But here's the fun part. After their lessons, they emerge from the shadows to practice their newfound scare tactics on unsuspecting victims. As young viewers, it's only meant one thing: more creative ways for our imaginations to run wild. While the show isn't as dark as some others, it still has its fair share of creepy moments, like Oblita's favorite trick involves gruesomely pulling out her own internal organs to induce nightmares. Yep, you've heard that right, but fear not, the animation style takes the edge off the horror, allowing us to enjoy their mischievous exploits without losing sleep. The Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy, 2001 to 2007. Get ready for a hilarious, spooky, and strangely heartwarming tale. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. At first glance, it's a creepy concept. Mischievous Mandy and her happy-go-lucky pal Billy somehow outwit death himself, Grit, in a limbo game, and guess what? They tricked him into a lifetime of servitude. But here's the twist. Beneath all the supernatural shenanigans, this show is a wholesome story of friendship and acceptance. Grim might be grumpy at first, but he slowly warms up to the dynamic duo, secretly looking out for them when they least expect it. Of course, he'd never admit it, always hiding behind sarcastic quips about how he'd rather be able to unleash his deadly powers. As you can imagine, Billy and Mandy make the most of their creepy new besties' abilities. From wreaking havoc in the netherworld to fulfilling their most selfish desires, they keep Grim on his bony toes, and poor Grim finds himself constantly cleaning up after their wild escapades. All in a day's work for a long-suffering skeleton. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is a roller coaster of fun with a dash of spookiness thrown in for good measure. The Storyteller, BBC, 1987 to 1989. The Storyteller, crafted by the genius mind of Jim Henson. This show is no ordinary bedtime story. It's a mesmerizing blend of puppetry and live action that weaves a spellbinding aura of European folktales. Meet the one and only storyteller brought to life by the talented John Hurt. He also has a sassy and sarcastic dog as well as his trusty companion. Together, they'll take you on a journey through seriously creepy and spine-tingling tales. From death captured in a magic bag to a woman giving birth to a hedgehog child, once these stories unfold, there's nothing lighthearted about them. And guess what? The show was such a hit that it birthed a follow-up in 1991, The Storyteller: Greek Myths. Join the storyteller and his beloved pup as they step into the labyrinth of ancient Greek tales, encountering legendary heroes like Theseus, the founder of Athens. The Demon Headmaster, BBC One, 1996 to 1998. Here's another British gem that'll give you the chills. The Demon Headmaster. This spooktacular show is based on the genius mind of Gillian Cross and brings us the thrilling tale of Dinah Glass, an orphan who finds herself in a new foster family, the Hunters. But here's the twist. The new school she attends has some seriously strange stuff going on. The headmaster is as authoritarian as they come, and the students follow his every command a little too willingly. Something fishy fishy is definitely going on, and it's up to Dinah and her newfound brothers to crack the case and put things right. Now, don't be fooled by the playful-sounding title, my friends. The Demon Headmaster takes a dark turn, tapping into the deepest fears of authority figures taking things too far. It's a spine-chilling ride that plays where our childhood nightmares are being at the mercy of someone with sinister intention. And let me tell you, the villain means business. His hypnotic powers are no joke, leaving the main characters dancing to his twisted tune. While a 2019 reboot may have toned down the creepy elements a bit, the Demon Headmaster himself still retains his infamous glowing green eyes. So, if you're up for a dark and gripping adventure, Netflix and chill with the Headmaster this weekend. Marvelous verdict. And there you have it, fellas, a journey through our childhood shows that can spook us out even today. From haunted houses to creepy creatures, these shows have left a mark on our memories. Childhood nightmares brought to life, each series transported us to worlds where the supernatural and the eerie collided with the ordinary. But beyond the scares, these series shows us the power of storytelling, captivating young minds and leaving us with lasting impressions. We laughed, we gasped, and we have ever hidden under our blankets once or twice. We hope you liked this nostalgic episode because we sure did. Drop a comment below to let us know of your favorite.